My goal has really always been help as many people as I can. And I've just kind of taken that with me everywhere I go. And with this opportunity, like you said, I have so much more visibility, and I've had that that outreach of all these messages about women who just loved my altar speech. And it was, thank you so much for saying those things. Like, I really feel like you get me. But I want to reach as many people as I possibly can, share more stories, share more insights. How did I get through this? How did I leave? Finding your strength, empowering yourself, and feeling confident not only in yourself, but in your relationship.
Welcome to the Prosperity Playground, the podcast where business meets energetics, strategy meets soul, and prosperity becomes inevitable. I'm your host, Anna Lozano, mom, founder, investor, mentor, and energetics in business expert. This is your weekly activation to rewire how you think and feel about wealth, success, and personal power, because it's not about working harder, it's about regulating deeper, aligning stronger, and receiving wider. You don't hustle for your future, you calibrate to your higher self. Join me weekly for high-level conversations with the world's most inspiring entrepreneurs, creators, and thought leaders. True prosperity isn't just about money. It's about alignment, freedom, expansion, and embodying your worth. Welcome to the playground. Let's build your most prosperous life. Hey loves, welcome back to the Prosperity Playground podcast. Today's episode is with Ashley Carpenter from Love is Blind Season 10. And yes, well, we absolutely go behind the scenes of one of my guilty pleasure reality TV shows. This episode is not a reality TV recap. It's a conversation about self-worth, emotional safety, boundaries, visibility, friendship, and what it really means to choose yourself. Ashley also shares what it has been like to move through visibility at this level, the Netflix level, to hold the momentum of a public platform and to use that opportunity for good, to support women in feeling stronger, more confident, and more grounded in who they truly are. This conversation is for the woman who has ever stayed too long, ignored her intuition, lowered her standards, or made herself smaller in the name of love, friendship, business partnership, belonging, or approval. It's a reminder that peace is definitely not boring. Boundaries are not harsh. Self-worth is absolutely non-negotiable. And sometimes the most powerful thing a woman can do is finally choose herself. And as I always say, you are worthy because you are, period. No explanation needed. All right, my loves, let's dive into this beautiful conversation with Ashley Carpenter. Ashley Carpenter from Love is Blind Season 10. Welcome to the Prosperity Playground podcast. I'm so grateful you're here with us today.
I am too. I'm so happy to be here. So happy to talk more with you.
So funny. Like, I'm going to reveal this. This show really is for female founders. We're all probably quite a bit older than you. I actually don't know your age. I didn't ChatGPT that, but it's okay. My guilty pleasure is Love is Blind. So when I am done all of my responsibilities with business and work and personal growth and healing and all the things, I turn my brain off and I watch the show. And the best part of it is you're on the show. Kelly Chase of Season 1 was on the show. I've had Jillian Harris of The Bachelor. I'm like, I'm such a reality TV junkie. And I'm like, it's so fun that this is like behind the scenes of building the brand. And then I got my girls from the shows on.
Yeah, I mean, we're all very strong, ambitious women. I feel like when they casted the women, not only just for my season, like I watch it and I'm like, these women are on like another level. It's like we're all just very intelligent, ambitious, and we're beautiful inside and out.
Seriously. So. And I got goosebumps. I love that. I love it so much. And I've had the opportunity to actually become really good friends with Kelly Chase. She was at one of my recent retreats here in Mexico that I run for female founders. And I'm like, I fucking love you all. You're just amazing. And so I want to dive into really the behind the scenes of, I get it. It's Netflix, it's editing, it's Love is Blind, which is like one of the biggest reality TV shows. I literally have watched every country, every franchise. And like when we talk junkie, I'm a junkie. So yeah. Take us on your journey. So your life before the show, And then you get casted, you get this opportunity which comes with a lot of visibility. So just take us a little bit about your own behind the scenes journey of being accepted onto the show and then what happened. Like your personal evolution is really what I want to dive into.
Yeah. So, I mean, I said it on the show, like I'm a pretty like small town girl. I was raised in a very like traditional family. You know, my dad's the protector, the provider. My mom is a sweet, nurturing soul. So I get a good mix and balance of two like great role models in my life. Before the show, I was actually in like a pretty serious relationship. We dated for 5 to 6 years, lived together, and it ended up being a very toxic relationship for me. Lots of narcissistic tendencies, lying, cheating, you know, the works, unfortunately. So when I finally like found the strength to leave that, I like completely reset. I got my shine back is what I say. People said I was like very dull going through that. And I think for me, I wanted to focus on ensuring that I had these boundaries in place to protect myself, to ensure that I was not dating potential. I'm not going to try to change someone to love me the way I need to be loved. Someone's going to be able to do that right from the get-go. I also wanted to like listen to my friends and family and surround myself with strong people that are going to lift me up. So those were things that were really important to me. And when I left that relationship, all these like positive things started happening to me. You know, you leave that toxicity and like you kind of realize you're like, wait, this is what it's like on the other side. And so I actually got like a job promotion. I found an amazing apartment. And then all of a sudden, Love is Blind was casting in Ohio. And there are so many people that are like, you need to do it. And I'm like, I'm not going to do it. Like, they're not going to pick me. Like, out of all the people they're interviewing.
Can I pause you for a sec? Were you someone who watched the show before the casting?
I'm going to be honest, I was not.
Really? Okay.
So I like, you know, all these people are like, you have to do it. I was like, I don't even know what it is. Like, I really wasn't in that like dating reality TV realm yet. And so, you know, they started reaching out on Instagram and I was like, okay, like I'll give them a call. Like they can take a call and whatever. And then it slowly started to go. And it was like all these interviews. And I was like, wait, I'm kind of like making it pretty far. And then I got the call. They're like, you're going to be on. And I was like, are you sure? I was like getting my hair done. So I was like all full foil head. And I was like, are you sure? And they gave me like 2 weeks
to decide.
So I was like, to get ready to go.
Oh shit. They're like done deal.
Yeah. And they were like, you know, I had conversations with my producer after that. And it was just like a whirlwind. I was like, are they seriously picking me? So me being me, I went back and I did some research and I started watching like a couple of the seasons. You know, it's reality TV, you know, you have cringy moments and you're like, wait, what am I about to get myself into? So I was so nervous. And I mean, you can't really prepare yourself for anything like this. I've never obviously done anything to this degree. So I was really stepping out of my comfort zone. And then on top of that, they take away everything. They take away your phone, social media. I couldn't even watch like the Weather Channel. So I was like a mess. I remember like my best friend took me to the airport and I was like crying, like just random moments. I would just burst out in tears. Oh, like, what am I doing? And got on the plane. I was getting all these like messages from my friends, my parents, my family. And I was just like tearing up. I was like, I was so grateful for this opportunity. And I was so grateful that I had all these people supporting whatever I was about to do on this crazy world. So it was a whirlwind. Obviously I get there and, you know, I meet all the girls and like instantly you have this sisterhood because no one's going to understand. You could tell everyone, you could tell your best friend, your parents, what you went through, but unless you live it, you don't fully understand it. So we all got very close. I obviously get engaged, nervous to tell my dad. I'm like, I'm getting married. And he was all excited for us. And then we obviously go through, we get to know each other a little bit better and just didn't work out in the end.
Yes.
So now I'm here.
Okay, we're gonna totally dissect this as I drop my glass of water. Thankfully the glass doesn't break. I'm like, this is exciting. I need more detail. I'm such a detailed person. So the whole journey. Now I already asked Kelly this because I was like, listen, is it scripted? Are they kind of secretly matching people behind the scenes? And she said no. Like this is the real deal.
No. So I will be the first to tell you, I was very skeptical. My dad was a divorce attorney. Yeah. So I'm like, there's no chance first of all, I'm not going to fall in love in 2 weeks. Second of all, he's not going to let me get married in that short amount of time. And so I was just like, you know, if I find a connection, like I will explore that. We can like make a decision on what we want to do. but I don't know in my heart if I would be ready to marry them before going. So then you're in the pods, you're going through these dates, the dates get longer, the conversations get deeper, and you find yourself like, wait a minute, is this working?
Wow.
Like, am I really like falling for these people, for these men, and, you know, eventually like getting engaged? And no, they don't. They give you questions that you can ask if you get stuck.
You get nervous. Yeah.
A date sometimes for 5 hours. So they do give you like a category of like what you're going to talk about today. And it's those hard topics. It's finances, you know, starting a family, things you wouldn't talk about on first dates, probably not, you know, 6 months into a relationship if you're, you know, nervous and timid in that relationship. So you really dig deep really fast. You have these like emotional connections that you never could imagine within 10 days. And it's like, okay, well, it worked, but no, not really scripted.
Wow.
I never felt like my producer was like, you know, pressuring me to ask this or like go talk to this person. She did an amazing job. My whole team did an amazing job of creating a space that I felt safe and I could tell them things I wanted to tell them. And, you know, we could work around whatever it was.
That's
never felt pressure.
It's incredible because ultimately in the space, in the safety of the space is where you can get vulnerable. And so the fact that they create this environment from like a producer standpoint is really incredible because you guys go deep and literally the world is watching. It's incredible. And just as a person, as a woman, the amount of strength and courage that takes to be that vulnerable on such a global platform is like, wow, what a personal development and growth journey in such a short period of time. And so you get vulnerable, you open. And I also, we speak a lot about frequency, energy, vibration on the show. And it really does speak to that. You know, you're not physically seeing someone, you're connecting on the deepest level. And there is an energetic exchange, which, you know, of course, then you layer in the outside layers, right? You get the phones back, you get the community, you get the job, you get the apartment, you get the real life, real world noise, and it messes with, it interferes, it interrupts with that ultimately the connection that you formed in such a safe and vulnerable space. So it really is a fascinating journey. So take us to, you've made your selection and the door opens, because I had to ask Hel this too. I was like, what in the world is that feeling when you're standing there, you're looking beautiful, you've just been talking to this person? Were you freaked out? Were you nervous? Were you excited? What were you feeling?
Yeah, I don't think I could ever like put that into words. That was probably when I was the most nervous. I always tell people it felt like the Hunger Games, like you're going into this place and you're like, what's going to happen? Like, do I need to go get a weapon? No. But you just don't know what to expect. And you know, like, it's not, you know, I think actually the last thing I watched, like, right before I got on the plane to go was like 5 top cringiest reveals. And, you know, it's like, it's marketed. And I'm like, that can't be me. Like, I can't do that. And, you know, it's just nerve wracking. Like, you don't know. And like with Alex, I had like a hard time kind of placing what I thought he looked like. I tried not to, but
yeah,
I'm just like that.
We go there.
So yeah, and you're not supposed to, but, you know, it worked out. I was very attracted to Alex. You know, he opened the door and he's in this like very nice suit and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. And, you know, I remember talking to the creator and she was like watching that. It was like magnets coming together. So there was immediately like a very strong connection that she felt. And yeah, it was crazy. I mean, they open the doors. They tell you they're going to like strobe a light behind you a few times. I think they did it like one time for me and it really threw me off because I was preparing for like a couple more and I'm just like standing there like, and then they open and I'm like, Gah! So it was crazy. That was the craziest part probably.
So crazy. And I do feel like if you can build a solid foundation on the emotion and the vulnerability, like the absolute most important. And I do believe it's an and conversation. The physical part of a relationship is very important. I don't know if it holds equal percentage, equal weight, but it is important. Did any of the girls, and you don't have to reveal names, like, are you able to talk about the reveal and be like, oh, I'm so happy this was a match, or like, oh gosh, like I'm disappointed, like did that shit happen behind the scenes?
I don't think like I ever thought that specifically, just because like they do a good job of like keeping you isolated, and you know, you're not allowed to talk about anything like if you're not in front of a camera, because they want that authentic, you know, those genuine conversations. So I don't remember any like chit chat about that. I do remember thinking like, okay, I got like a good looking guy and our like emotional matches. And like you said, like I think there is to a degree a little bit of like the physical does matter, especially like initially. But I keep telling people, you know, they ask me like, what are you looking for in dating now? And I'm like, I'm looking for a good heart and a good head. Like I want a brain and I want a heart that's going to like care and have that compassion towards me.
Yes. And I mean, and that attraction needs to be there. And, you know, everyone sees beauty differently. And so whatever that attraction is, I feel it's like the perfect piecing together. But ultimately, which is not happening in dating today. And again, I've been married since 2013. So I can't really speak to this. I'm not out in the wild, wild west of the dating world right now. I have 2 young girls, but it starts with physical, right? Especially when you're swiping, if you're on the dating apps, like it begins with physical, and you got to do it the opposite way. So it's like, how can you recreate this in real life now as someone who is out in the dating world? Like, have you thought about that? How are you creating this in a way now out in the real world?
Yeah, it's tough because and my dad would be the first to tell you I have a bad picker. Like I always go for the quarterback. I go off looks a lot, or at least I did in my past. And now I've really shifted. I'm no longer like letting someone who's cute, you know, disrespect my boundaries. I would rather, you know, adapt to their absence than disrespect my own boundaries that I have for myself. I know my potential. I know how a man should treat a woman. Again, going back to my parents, my dad has always treated my mom like an absolute queen. And that's what I see. And that's sort of my standard. And I've lost that in past relationships. And it'll be like crazy little things. Like if I stay at my parents and it's winter and my car is covered in snow, my dad will be the first person to go out there and like clean my car off. And I remember like I was dating a guy and I was like, oh, he didn't do that for me. And I was like, it's not a big deal. But I'm like, my dad would do that without asking. And like, I hate to say that that's my standard, but like, I guess my bar to some people is a little higher than they like. And to me, that's pretty like common sense.
It is.
Why wouldn't well, you know?
It's such a powerful message for, I feel, all women of all ages. And it's those standards really do matter. And it really is in the smallest of moments, which sometimes we may brush off. Okay, well, this isn't happening. That's okay. It's just little. But over time, those become significant layers and pillars. I feel to, you know, when we experience contrast, and if we look at this from like the universal law standpoint, when we experience contrast, it does reveal to us what it is that we want. And without the contrast, we wouldn't be able to have this clarity that is pristine. And so you had to go through these relationships to really uncover and reveal, like, this is what I do want. And it's no longer, maybe in the past, it was negotiable, but it's no longer. And I feel that's really inspiring and empowering. I'd love to ask you about self-worth and how that has shifted for you since the show, because you do portray a very confident and a woman who loves herself and is a powerhouse. Was there shifts, maybe subtle or large, that you experienced specifically around the self-worth, self-love conversation pre-show and post-show?
Yes. I will say pre-show, I definitely, what's the word I'm looking for? I definitely put my self-worth to the side. And I'm like, I guess I can put the blame on myself for this one because I'm in the Midwest. And first of all, in the Midwest, there is this like unspoken stereotype, I'll call it, that like, if you're not married and have kids by 30, then you're like this old maid. And I had that in my head. You know, I was always like, oh, I want to be the young mom. I want to take them like to practice and be cute, whatever. And so I was in my 30s and I was like, all right, well, I've been dating this guy seriously for X amount of years now. COVID hits. We basically had to quarantine together. So I'm like, this is it. This is who I'm going to marry. And it was just because of this like invisible timeline that I had engraved in my brain based on where I was. That I felt like I had to, this was it. This was my end game. And you know what, if I'm like a little bit sad, sometimes that's fine. Come to realize like, no, after that relationship, I'm like, I'm on no one's timeline. It's my own timeline. and I want to have my adventures. I want to make sure that I'm living for myself. I think the best thing you can do if I want kids one day, the best thing I can do for them is show them a happy mother.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wasn't doing that. And if I stayed in that relationship, if I had kids, I would love my kids to death, but I probably wouldn't be my happiest self.
Yeah.
So again, I had that shift after that relationship. I did a lot of growing, reflecting, working on myself to ensure that I love myself. I make myself happier. And that if someone comes into it, they make me happier and they make me stronger, whatever it is. They add the ER to it. It's not like I need them, I want them.
Yeah.
So then I go into this crazy experiment and I'm strong. Like you said, I come off like very confident and strong, but I do see, like, it's funny because in the real dating world, you don't get to go back and like get the instant replay. So you go back and I watch and I'm like, I see a little moment, especially after the mixer where, and everyone can identify it because I'm like so sad. You can tell I'm asking questions. Alex is getting upset. And then all of a sudden he's like, do you want chicken nuggets? And I just like flip the switch. And I'm like, yep. And I'm like, well, just deal with this. And I watched that and I was like, that's old Ashley.
Yes.
And then as we go on, I continue to ask questions. And then at the altar, again, I just kind of like get that shine back. I'm like, no, I have some things I want to say. And I'm finally going to take that chance to do that for myself because we don't get it a lot. You don't get that opportunity a lot. And there's a lot of women out there. I got an import of messages just like, I wish I had the strength to say what you said. And thank you so much. And, you know, you get a little negativity, but unless you're in that situation where you have been abused, whether it's emotionally, physically, whatever, you do not understand how hard it is to actually get up there and say those things.
Wow.
And I'm not saying that Alex abused me, but I saw patterns in previous relationships.
Yeah.
And I was like, you are constantly being dishonest with me. And I'm going to call it out. I need to.
It's incredible. And I feel for the journey that you're describing, like this was the last straw. It's kind of like if you put yourself in this and we're rewatching your story. And the crazy thing is we actually got to watch your story and you can always go back and rewatch it. But it's like you have this relationship for 5 years and you do all of this work. And then this opportunity has presented itself to really test you in a way. Like, hey, those boundaries that you put up after that breakup, are they actually strong enough? And not only do you get to experience this for your own healing, growth, evolution, but you do it on this scale, on this platform that is enormous. And it speaks to your characters, to who you are, because not everyone would be able to handle that level of visibility. And that's kind of where I want to go next. So after the show, and we've seen it, there's been 10 seasons of Love is Blind. Platforms grow, like visibility for most contestants exponentially grows. And if we kind of look at it parallel to the story of someone winning a lottery. So, they're living a regular blue collar life and all of a sudden they win $50 million. Normally what happens is their nervous system and their capacity to be able to hold this on every single level, mental, spiritual, nervous system, physical, is just unable to handle it. And so if we look at that in the lens of visibility, all of a sudden after the show airs, it's like, boom, this exponential visibility. How was that for you? When you look back, being able, and you've been holding it because you're in it right now. Like this is a new season. When Kelly was on, we were talking like 5 years prior. You're in the visibility right now and you're leveraging it. You're sharing your story. You're sharing your growth. You're sharing all the lessons that you personally experienced. What has been the hardest part? Because I do believe it is this nervous system holding, being able to hold it. But not only are you holding it, you're also leveraging it for growth and supporting others' growth. So talk to us about that experience.
Yeah, I will say, I think the biggest thing that has helped me get through this change, this new chapter, is the people I surround myself with, hands down. Even on my wedding day, when I was still in it, I still kind of get negative comments about how could she have all of her friends and family take off a day of work to come down and just say no? And I'm like, No, that is the whole point. I have this army behind me
Yes.
willing to do that. I didn't force them to come, I didn't bribe them. They were there because they wanted to support me. And whether I said yes or no, they would still love me, support me, care for me, whatever it was.
Yeah.
They were my army of support. That is who keeps me grounded, keeps me who I am, lifts me up on my hard days, keeps me laughing throughout life. Like they see the good, bad, the ugly, and they love me anyways. And so when I have those hard days, when, the negative comments are just getting to you, it's almost like, first of all, my dad has like a spidey sense and he will be like, I got to text her. And he always texts me in these like super like proud, emotional messages when I need them most.
Wow.
But then I just go back. I have like a dinner with my family. I go and see my girlfriends and they bring me back. And I'm like, this is what matters.
Yeah.
Identifying what truly matters is the people you have around you. Do they lift you up? Do they inspire you? Or do they leave you feeling drained? That's what's like really important to me. I want those people, like-minded people who are good. They do good things. They do kind things. And those are the things that really keep me going through this entire process. And yes, I'm trying to like leverage resources. I also do have like people-pleasing tendencies a lot. So I hate saying no to anyone. So that's one of my other boundaries is I need to figure out what's a value in my life. What is going to add to my cup? What's going to fill me up? And, I have to learn to say no to certain things, even though it's so hard. I never want to let anyone down. I never want to miss an opportunity, but I do, again, have to make sure that I'm okay, that my mental stability is there, that I'm happy and I'm, energized to take on whatever's next. Because it's not easy for me to say no to things.
Well, and this is the thing. You're also in this incredible momentum. And I was just listening to an incredible interview with my friend Jessica Zweig, and she had Caitlin Bristow on the show. And Caitlin was saying, when I was at the height of my fame, how was I feeling? And she actually expressed that she didn't love the feeling that she was experiencing. And so if you look at your career right now, like and it's not to say you're not going to have other incredible opportunities, but you're at an, more higher level of visibility than the average person will ever experience. And so there's two sides to this story. I feel is like, okay, you're in complete momentum, which is an incredible gift that you have received from Source Creator Universe, however you manifested this, whoever you believe in, it's like, what an incredible opportunity. But two is this lesson for you, which is a key lesson of boundaries and self-respect and self-love and self-worth is like, what feels good for you? Like I have super goosebumps. I'm like, oh, this is so good. It's like, but what feels most alive, most aligned for you? Because yes, opportunities right now are coming at you. And so I'm going to layer this into a training that I was in yesterday with David Guillaume. He's one of the leading spiritual teachers right now. And he was saying, because he also has a magnitude of opportunities in business and visibility and all of it. And he said, I have set two massive goals for this year. And if these opportunities do not align with one of these, with accelerating one of these two goals, it's a no. And so because boundaries can move and shift depending on what shiny opportunity comes to us. But if we tie it to a vision or tie it to specific goals, it makes it that much easier to say no with confidence because that is the focus point. That's the focal point. And so I love that for you.
Absolutely.
What are you focused on? Like if we were to kind of zoom out now, so you're on this height of visibility, you are in momentum, you're young, you're beautiful, you're single, like hello world, you're shining. Yeah. I love it. I can feel it. It's like, what is the vision? What are you, Ashley, moving towards right now? What lights your soul on fire? What are you most excited for?
Yeah, I think my goal has really always been help as many people as I can. Yeah. Like when I first started, like out of college, I was like, how can I help as many people as possible? And I've just kind of taken that with me everywhere I go. And with this opportunity, like you said, I have so much more visibility and I've had that just that outreach of all these messages about women who just loved my altar speech. And it was, thank you so much for saying those things. Like, I really feel like you get me. And that's what I want. I want to reach as many women as and men, I will say, like any men, if I resonate with them as well. But I want to reach as many people as I possibly can, share more stories, share more insights. How did I get through this? How did I leave? finding your strength, empowering yourself, and feeling confident not only in yourself, but in your relationships. Like, those are things that I struggled with for a long time because I thought I had to.
Yes.
And I feel like a lot of people feel like that. It's like, oh, well, I'm not miserable, I guess I can stay in this relationship. Or, I was always that I can change him. Like, you don't have to. You do not have to date potential. You need to remember your worth, your values, what's important to you, what are your non-negotiables, and stay true to those. It's just like setting those 2 goals. What aligns with your values? What aligns with who you are? And I always go back to this one quote, and I don't remember who said it, but it was like a question. And it was like, if someone said, you're just like your spouse, would you find that as a compliment or an insult? And I love that, because in my last relationship, I would have found that as an insult. And if I would have heard that at the beginning, I probably wouldn't have stayed as long as I did.
Wow.
But I think that's so important. Again, surround your peace, your boundaries with people that are like-minded, who are going to lift you up and make you happier.
I love that. One of the questions too that comes up often is when we're on this like rapid acceleration and expansion journey within ourselves and in our deep inner world work, oftentimes we outgrow people. And I know, especially as women, it's hard because we are community builders, we are nurturers. So what do you feel about that? Where, and I'm looking more at this from like a friendship lens, right? Oftentimes it's like, well, we've been friends since elementary school, or, we have those stories that used to connect us, but the version that we are today, it's just, we're on a completely different trajectory in a completely different energetic space. So how have you found that? Have there been people you've outgrown? Because you also are building a completely new community and completely new network through, the show, through the community you're building on social with, other people you've met through this journey. So speak to us about that a little bit.
Yeah, I will say for me, I think it's more consistency and reciprocity rather than the intensity of something. So I found myself a lot of times, like, you always have that friend that's like, let's grab dinner. And it takes you months to finally get something on the calendar. And then you get dinner, have an amazing time. And you're like, we need to do this more often. And that is like an intense example. You are seeing them once in a while, but you have an amazing time. But it's like the little things. The person that texts you is just like, oh, I saw this in Target and I thought of you. Or, hey, let's grab coffee. Whatever those little things are, even if it's part of your routine, it's the consistency and someone who is reciprocating that care that you're giving them. So if you're always reaching out, if you're the one always trying to make plans and they're never doing the same, then it's probably time to cut that off. For me, like, for the people in my life, I want to make sure that they know that they are of a value and they're adding. So I do try to reach out as much as I can. Life is crazy. People have kids, people have families, people have crazy experiments going on. But you have to remind the people that, who are always there for you, who supported you, that they do matter.
Yeah, I love that.
It shouldn't be sad, because again, if they're not reciprocating that, are they sad that they're losing you? Or are they just trying to like ghost you as a friend, So I think that's the biggest thing, is consistency and making sure that, it's not a one-way street.
Yeah, the one-way street is it's a difficult conversation. It ultimately comes down to feeling. Like, how does this being in this relationship make me feel? And then we can look at that from the lens of business partners and obviously partners, or intimate partners, but friendship especially. A lot of women are coming into relationship through sisterhood wounding, through, I just had an interesting situation and I'm like, I'm 42. How is this still coming up? But when something doesn't feel good, then that's our first indicator. When a situation doesn't feel good, when a friendship doesn't feel good, it's like, okay, bring up curiosity, but we also need to bring in discernment. Like, is this going to happen again? And is this how I want to feel? And if the answer is no, we get to move on. And I feel like once you turn 40, a lot of the fucks you used to give kind of disappear. And you're like, you know what?
I don't have to date potential. I'm not going to have a potential friendship. Yeah, no, I agree. It's again, who you're surrounding yourself with. Do they make you feel inspired? Do they make you feel happier, stronger? Or do you feel drained? Is it one of those situations where you're like, gosh, I hope they cancel? Like,
yeah,
and we'll have those
Let's be honest. We all have those. And it's like, oh, I said yes. And fingers crossed, maybe they cancel. Like I'm manifesting this right now. But that's our indicator. And it's like our gut instinct, our intuition, like this is our superpower. And so when it's nudging you, listen the first time, because when you don't, it's when you create actually much harder situations that are harder to unwind from because you didn't listen the first time. So this has been,
I do feel like, I feel like we do have like that check the box mentality.
Totally.
So like, oh, we're still friends because we got dinner, check the box, you know? So I think that's, you know, something you got to focus on too, is like, are they actually adding to your cup?
Yes. And are you adding to theirs? You know, you might be so busy in your own life that maybe you're being a shitty friend. And it's like, I'm always like, how can I take the most self-responsibility? And once I've taken that, and then there's like, again, that feeling just isn't there. It's okay. You're allowed to outgrow. And I feel this statement is for every single area of our life. And you call it the peace over potential, which is so good.
Yeah.
So good.
I mean, your peace is the most important thing. You cannot enter any relationship, friendship, even work, I feel like, or intimate relationships. You can't come into that if you're in a chaotic state. If you don't know what's going on in your own brain, in your own heart, how do you expect someone else to understand that or love that? You know, if you don't love yourself, how can someone else love you if you don't know how you need to be loved?
This is it. So good. Okay, we're going to rapid fire. Do you have anything else to add that maybe I would have missed through this such a fun and deep conversation?
No, I feel like I said everything.
Love it. Okay, I kind of already.
If something comes to me, I'll say. I don't know.
So fun. Okay, I kind of already asked you this, but what are you most excited about right now?
Right now, I think it's just opportunities. And I don't mean that like brand deals. I'm like the opportunities that I've had to meet some incredible individuals who have incredible stories that they share with me, that they feel safe enough to share that with me. That is what I enjoy the most, is just really talking to someone on the street or to a CEO, whoever it is. I want to know your story. I love hearing people talk about themselves and just light up. That's kind of what gets me going. And it inspires new things for me to take on. Like, what can I do to better myself or better this world? So I think that's my favorite part.
Amazing. Right. What's one ritual that you swear by?
Oh, one ritual I swear by. That's a good one. I feel like it's got to be something with my dog. Like if I'm having a bad day, I want to take her for a walk. If I'm having a good day, she's going to get a pup cup. Something with my dog. She's just like, she's that constant that I always hold on to. If it's not that, I think at the end of the night, I always like to try to think, like, did I make someone's day special? Someone recently asked me that. They're like, at the end of the day, what do you wish you would have done? And I'm like, I want to make someone else's day better. Oh. So if I do that for one person, if I do that for thousands of people, as long as I made one person's day better, that's what matters. Because then they might go do the same.
This is it. That energy is reciprocity. Yeah. It's gonna activate that law of reciprocity. Beautiful. Yeah. Who would you love to have brunch with who maybe you haven't met, whether it's an author or a thought leader or just anyone?
Ooh, that's a good question. This is like such a fangirl moment. And she's the only, like, as soon as you said it, she popped in my head. So maybe I have a different answer, but Kristen Cavallari. She's just always been this like queen. You know, even the girls, me, Brie, and Pri, we kind of got like a mean girl edit for a minute. And Kristen was always like, you know, this mean girl, like she was the, you know, whatever.
The villain.
But she was the villain, but I always loved her. Her work ethic is insane. She's built an entire empire. Mom, I mean, she does it all. And I'm just like, I want to learn from you.
Yes.
I want to know what you get there.
So good. So good. Do you play pickleball?
I don't play pickleball, and I need to. I keep saying I'm going to get into it. I'm a big golfer, but pickleball has taken the world by storm. So I need to get into it, and I really like the outfits. So
okay, so I'm launching a pickleball brand and starting with actual courtwear. So I ask every guest, and I would say like 95% of women are saying no. I'm like, okay, this is great market opportunity.
No, I need to get into it. Yeah, send me the link. I will buy everything so I look cute when I'm playing. I've played tennis, so I'm like, it's probably similar.
I feel it's easier because it's less court distance, shorter movement. So I'm like, if you already have some sort of racket sport skill, pickleball, and this is why I truly believe so many people are playing around the world, because it's a sport you can actually become good at quite quickly. And that's satisfaction in itself.
I'm like, perfect. I'm really competitive. So if I'm gonna like stink, I need to get better fast, you know?
Love it. Oh my gosh. And finally, what is your definition of prosperity?
Ooh, my definition of prosperity. I feel like for me, like the goal that I have for my entire life is just to not only make my friends and family proud, but myself proud. And I think those kind of go hand in hand. I feel like when I become a mom, or even my parents, like they always want their kids to have a better life. And so I'm going to do everything I can right now, whether it's working my butt off in the corporate world, if it's, trying to do things with friends and family, whatever it is, I'm going to try to do my best at it, put 110% into everything. But I think, success, prosperity, the riches, whatever it is, like that comes from happiness. It's not material things. It's, are you happy with who you are at the end of the day? And do I want to pass that along when I have my generation, my children come out? So I don't know. I think that's what it is for me. It's just remaining who you are, being your authentic self, and being proud of what you're putting out there.
So beautiful. Thank you. And where can everybody find you?
Yes, I'm on Instagram and I'm on TikTok. It's just _Ash Carpenter. It's an easy one. So find me there. But yeah, and hopefully more podcasts and hopefully a pickleball tournament with you one day.
Let's do it. Thank you so much. Thank you for showing up with just this kind heart, openness, and your authenticity. So grateful for you.
Of course. I had so much fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for joining me on today's episode of the Prosperity Playground podcast. If this conversation sparked something in you, be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts so you never miss your weekly activation. If you enjoyed the conversation, please rate and review. Your feedback helps us reach more souls just like you who are ready to calibrate to their most prosperous life. Know someone who needs this frequency boost? Share the episode to Instagram and tag me at _Anna Lozano so we can grow our energetically aligned community together. And please remember, true prosperity is about alignment, freedom, expansion, and embodying your worth. Start today. I'm Anna Lozano, and this is the Prosperity Playground. See you on the next activation.